Hello everybody, today I will play through Pokemon Emerald with a tailow. I guess I'm turning into a bird keeper now. While tailow is not so bad, this generation is not very kind to flying types. There are a good number of trainers that are super effective on us. One interesting aspect is that Tailow is the first Pokemon I use with a good ability. Guts raises your attack if you're poisoned, paralyzed, or burned, and I'll be sure to use it whenever possible. His move pool is not very deep, but I don't think it will cause problems. We probably won't have to reset many times. Leave a comment guessing how many resets it will take, and no skipping ahead. I can see it in the metrics if you do. Since Talo is a physical attacker, I was looking for a cool nature that increases attack and lowers something else. And in the first attempt, I got Adamant, the perfect nature. After we deal with the Tsagun, we can move on to the fight against May. I gave her Mudkip since the other two are weak to flying, and because I did not level up, the fight is kinda close, but I can come out on top thanks to stab and good speed. Once May is defeated, we can proceed to Petalburg Woods, where we have to save the researcher as usual. The Pochiena from the grunt is not very threatening, and I can take it out with a couple of pecks. When the grunt loses, he runs away with his tail between his legs, and we can go to Roxanne's gym. I lost once because it's a rock type trainer, but the second attempt goes better. I use focus energy because I need a few crits to get through the gym. I could have came in the fight poisoned, but I don't think it would have been enough attack and I would have lost too much HP. After the second Geodude goes down, I have less than half HP remaining and already ate the berry. Nosepass hits me with a big rock tomb and leaves me with only 2 HP. Next I use Endeavor because I knew she would potion. Now I don't know if to attack or Endeavor. I chose to attack and it was the right decision. A bit sweaty, but we got through one of the hard fights. After we collect the badge, we have to rescue Pico as usual. At this point the grunt is a joke, and the Pochiena gets destroyed. Next I fought the optional May match. At this point it might as well not be optional since I always do it. Her team is actually kinda good, or at least her lead is. Torkoal has very good stats for this point in the game. The Mudkip on the other hand can't do much and falls in one hit. After we defeat May, we can make our way to Brawly's gym. Since he is a fighting type trainer, he shouldn't be that bad, but you shouldn't underestimate him. Not this time though, since I'm quite overleveled and I can one-shot all of his Pokémons and grab an easy badge. Probably the easiest Brawly I have ever had. We can then travel by boat to Slightport to deliver the parts to the captain. For some reason he is in the museum and we get attacked by more Team Aqua grunts. While the Carvana's rough skin is annoying, that's pretty much all they can do to me. At this point I can one-shot most Pokémons I come across, so they never stood a chance really. The second grunt soon goes down too, and once I defeated both of them, their leader shows up just to brag I guess, since he does not fight me. Anyway, with the parts delivered and Team Aqua dealt with, we can proceed to the May 2 fight. It was quite easy. I can one-shot her lead and the Slugma. Why the heck is she not using the Torkoal anymore? Who knows. Marstomp takes 2 hits but does nothing, and with her defeated and a bunch of grinding near Moville, we can face Wattson. I could have been poisoned for this fight to activate Guts, but I preferred to let them paralyze me to activate it. It's risky because of full para, but poison could lower my HP too much, so not an easy choice between the two. The magneton looks like a 3-shot and thankfully for some reason uses sonic boom instead of shockwave, so we can take it out and finish the fight. Once we have his badge in our pocket, as usual we go to Meterfall Caves to meet up with the two teams and find out about Max's crazy plan, so we have to stop him. Every time I use a physical attacker, I'm worried about the Mytiena, since Intimidate cuts our attack in two, and because of that, I can't one-shot it. I used Focus Energy to hopefully get a crit and ignore Intimidate. Once my TN goes down, the rest of the team is not a problem. Camerupt leaves a hit, but does little damage back, and we can finish the fight after a few potions from Maxi. Once we brought ruin to his ambitions, we can go deal with Flannery, and she is surprisingly hard. I lost a few times to her Torkoal because it can one-shot me, so I need a crit to take it out before she kills me. The rest of her team is not really a problem, they all get KO'd in one shot each thanks to Guts. I used Focus Energy, but it still took a few attempts to get the crit against the Torkoal and win the match. I could have leveled more to leave a hit, but who has time for that? At least now that she is defeated, the next gym leader is not also gonna be a problem, right? Unfortunately he is. Once again, most of his team is not a problem and gets one-shotted. I'm faster than them, so they don't do anything to me. But his ace slacking is too thick for me to take out in one hit, and he always one-shots me back. So I had to reset until I got a crit to get through. These last two gyms have been surprisingly rough for tailow. I did not expect it. Anyway, then I received the Surf TM and can move on with the main story. After clearing the Weather Institute, we have to deal with May once again. At least she is easy. The Lombre, as usual, likes to be annoying and flinches me with Fake Out, but that's all the damage I'll take in the fight. Norman gave us the Facade TM, so with that, our damage skyrocketed. After we defeat May and she gives us the Fly HM, we have to fight the next gym. For the match against Winona, I did not get poisoned. I think the fight will be kinda long because of Protect and Steel type, so the poison might backfire and cause a loss. At this point I'm double her level, so I should have enough attack anyway to deal with her Pokémons. The Skarmory turns out to be a 3-shot, and it even uses Sand Attack once. Thankfully I can hit the rest of my attacks and take it out. The Altaria leaves a hit, but gets out of potion range, so I can finish the fight the next turn. After we acquire Winona's badge and the TM for Aerial Ace that I did not teach for some reason, I decided to do the other not so optional May fight. As usual, her team is nothing to worry about. I used Focus Energy turn 1, but I don't think it was needed. All her Pokémons are a one-shot since they are not fully evolved or not that good in general. The Maelstrom survives and does a little bit of damage, but it's too little too late. After May flies away, we can visit the Pokémon Cemetery and get the Magma emblem from the old lady. With that in hand, we make our way to Maxi, where we see him waking up the Groudon with the blue orb. Since Groudon jumps away, I guess, Maxi decides to attack us. Once again, the Intimidate is the main problem. I probably should have got here with Poison, but I was lazy. It doesn't really matter though. We can almost two-shot ourselves in confusion, but thankfully we soon snap out of it and defeat it, and defeat the rest of his team, since now we are a +1. After we defeat Maxi and explore the 7.8 seas, too much water, We have to face off against Tate and Liza. This time I am poisoned, and with the added attack, I shouldn't have any problems. I thought tailow steel wing to be able to easily defeat Lunaton and Solrock. Once the Lunaton goes down, I shift my focus to Xatu because it started boosting. I can take it out with one facade, and during the next turn, one last steel wing takes care of the sun Pokemon. And with that, this gym is conquered too. Up next, we have to help Steven in the double fight against the Team Magma. The fight turned out to be not as terrible as I thought. Since there are two Matienas, I expected it to be a clown fiesta. I also forgot to heal, which is not a wise move if you ask me. I get slowed down on turn 1 with Scary Face, but surprisingly enough, I'm still the fastest thing on the field. Once I remove the Mightyena, I'm much calmer. The Metang keeps using screens when I would prefer him attacking and helping me take them out. When he finally decides to use Psychic, it lands on the Crobat, dealing good damage. I can finish it next turn, and with one trainer left, this should be easy. The camera deals little damage before going down to a crit. The Mightyena lowers my attack even more, but not enough to survive, and eventually the final Golbat gets knocked out too. After we defeat them and they evacuate the premises, we can grab the Dire HM from Steven and have to go deal with the older evil team leader. Archie is more or less the same as the last couple Team Magma fights. For being diametrically opposed, they have quite a few Pokémons in common. Once the Mightyena goes down and he only slowed me, you know the fight is over. The Crobat does some damage but gets knocked out, and the Sharpedo can take a hit, so he goes down too. Once Archie is defeated, the red orb in his inventory activates and wakes up Kyogre. Because they have been woken up with the wrong orbs, the legendaries are not in a good mood, and the weather in the region swings wildly between harsh and sun rain. As usual, they realize a bit too late that their plan is trash, so now we have to clear up their mess. You know, the usual stuff for a 10-year-old kid. Write in the comments which catastrophe you stopped at 10. Anyway, once the cutscene ends, we can take on the last gym leader. For Juan, I decided to get poisoned so that Guts would activate, just to make sure I have enough damage for the Kintra and it does not do anything weird. As a side effect, I now have enough damage to one-shot every other Pokemon in his team, so the fight was very easy overall. They can't even stall me out with Protect or stuff like that. Once I take out his last Pokemon and finally earn the last badge, I can enter the Victory Road and have our first and last friendly match against Wally. He is quite a wasted rival in my opinion. I am still poisoned from Juan, so with Guts active I should be able to one-shot all of his Pokemon. Surprisingly, even the Magneton goes down in one hit. That's the power of Guts' facade, I guess. Obviously, nothing else can stand after one hit, so we can just sweep the rest of his team, and once he is defeated, we can take on the League. Sidney is the first member, and of course, the Mightyena is there to spoil our fun. Or not, since Guts' facade is too strong, and we can proceed to clean sweep the rest of his team. Feels good to not get screwed over by RNG for once. After a couple more turns of slaughter, he runs out of Pokémon to throw out, and we can move on to the second trainer. I feel like most of the league will be like this, and I will sweep their teams. Pheobe, since she has ghost types that are immune to facade, might be slightly harder. The next best move to use against her is Wing Attack, and thanks to Guts, it does a lot of damage. The only thing that might leave it is the ace Dusclops, but it turns out that it is not tanky enough. So from here I can just pick off the rest of her team, hit one hit each, and be done with her. After Phoebe is defeated, we gotta take on Glacia. For her, the plan is pretty much the same, take everything out with Facade. I could use Steel Wing for the two Glalis, but I don't trust its accuracy. I'm sure it would miss, and I would die to an Ice Beam or something like that. Why risk it when Facade is doing its job perfectly? The only kinda risky spot is the Wall Rain, but I don't think it could leave a hit, even with mean damage. After Glacia goes down, it's time for the last Elite Four. Once again, we can just spam Facade over and over again. The Shelgon has Protect to stall me, but he can't do it long enough. Salamence immediately comes out to try to stop me with Intimidate, but it does not work, and from here it's another clean sweep for the little bird. Surprising what one good ability and move can do. We finish off the last of his dragons and we can move on and we come face to face with the champion of the region. You know what they say, if it works, don't fix it. So we're going in with the same strategy. I forgot to restore Facade's PP, but I had enough to finish the fight. The only problem could be the Milotic after Intimidate, but it comes out before it, so it's not a problem anymore. At this point, all his remaining Pokémons are a one-shot. Maybe the Gyarados can leave a hit, but I highly doubt it. I guess we'll see shortly. He intimidates me and Facade is enough to take it out. So tailow is now the champion of the Hoenn region. The mid game was harder than I thought, but the rest of the game was quite easy. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, share the video, and if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to write them in the comments. See you next week, bye!